It's been nearly 3 years since Elite Dangerous was released, so I thought I'd take a look at the game and see how far things have progressed. This is the spiritual successor to the original 1984 game, which was in itself a landmark game at the time, but it's now 2017 and things have moved on quite significantly. Elite is very much basic in terms of how it progresses with the player. It pretty much dumps you straight into the action, or rather lack of action, particularly in the early stages of the game. You will find yourself doing a lot of resource collecting and trying to earn credits in order to upgrade your ship. Much of your interaction will take place in starports and space stations, and here you'll have a selection of different missions to undertake in order to get those hard-earned credits, which are very essential at the early stages of the game, but there isn't a huge variety in these, usually transporting something, destroying something, mining, or even moving someone around the galaxy. To their credit, Frontier have added character customization, but it seems a little shallow at the minute because you can't actually do anything with your character other than jump into another ship in multiplayer. You can't get out of the cockpit, you're still stuck inside there. Saying that, there are times that the game can be quite intriguing, even just wandering around and looking at what's around you. These include space stations and planets, and some of the planets you can land on if you have the Horizons expansion. Even just looking at the planets from a distance or going up close can be quite interesting, and you can collect data as well, take this back to starports and earn, yes, more credits. The game is very heavily based on ranking, where you will progress through the ranks and also earning more money in order to beef up your ship and purchase new ones. There are a good selection of ships in the game. They're not all available from the single space station. You might have to wander around to different locations to find them. And these offer a variety of different ships which can give you better combat ability, more cargo hauling, or even passenger liners later on. And there's a good degree of customization too. You can add different weapons, you can take out cargo racks, add special scanners and defensive points, but basically you are stuck with the ships that Frontier have given you. There isn't any ability to design your own, which is something which is a bit of a shame for me, because that would have added another element, and Frontier are pretty gouging out on the customization on the skins and paint jobs. Saying that, it's preferable perhaps to a subscription model. The ultimate goal is to increase your rank, which seems a bit simplistic. It would have been nice to have had an element where you could level up specific skills, but when the combat does come, it can be quite fast and furious and also engaging. For new players though, you will find yourself heavily outgunned at the start of the game, so it's probably best to avoid combat, at least until you've managed to upgrade your ship. It's nice to be able to land on the planets, and if you have a ship with the SRV, you can also engage this, go around and look at different places on the planet's surface, but in a lot of cases there isn't much to see. Sometimes you'll find a shipwreck, sometimes you will find a starport, but this level of interaction doesn't really pull the player in much, and it's only available if you have the Horizons expansion. Frontier have a two-tier development for this game. So the base game will allow you to fly around. You won't have access to all of the features unless you have the Horizons, and that's something which I think won't sit well with some players. Frontier have attempted to beef up the gameplay somewhat with the addition of factions. You can join a specific faction or leave it at any time, and you can get some bonuses with this, including, yes, more credits or additional weaponry, and they're not all combat based, some of them are trade based too. This does add a political layer to the game, but personally I think that the game needs something else, and that would be something else to do with all those credits that you get, and it's really something which I think is missing in the game, which would add a huge amount of strategy to it, and that's really what the game needs. Trading is one area which could do with some more development. It's not particularly accessible and doesn't really come across very user-friendly, at least at the early stages of the game, and there are probably quicker ways of earning money. And when you're a new player, that's basically what you're going to be doing, is going out trying to earn as much money as you can in order to upgrade your ship or to purchase a better one. Going back to the strategy element that I was talking about, which I feel is missing in the game, what I would like to see is the ability to do something with those credits. Instead of joining a faction, why can't you create your own mini empire? We have a vast universe to explore here, and you also accumulate money relatively quickly after the first stages of the game. Why can't you, for instance, buy a space station, buy your own fleet of ships, colonize a planet? And this doesn't necessarily have to be in a military expansion sense. It could be done in a trade way and also a scientific method too. Despite the flaws, there are certainly moments that can be enjoyable and interesting, as well as entertaining. At this stage though, it remains to be seen, nearly 3 years after the initial release of the game, if the developer Frontier has the foresight and vision to take the game to an area and level where it could possibly be an outstanding game instead of merely a fairly decent one.